know it. The Astros are 70-30 on the season, and they're playing the lowly Rangers, right? I mean, they can't buy a hit right now, right? I mean, the Yankees are a much better team, right? I
Nope.
mean, there's a lot of things to look bad on Houston Astros, right? Wrong. The Astros are still a great team. They're still looking up. And guess what? They've played really good against the Texas Rangers this year. They've really owned the Texas Rangers. And we're going to be talking about this and more on this edition of the Locked On Astros podcast. And we got a special guest, Hensley, and he'll join us in a second. Let's talk Astros baseball.
Hello and welcome to Locked On Astros, your daily Astros podcast. Here are your hosts, Eric the Man Huysman and Brett H-Town Wheelhouse Chancey.
We are Locked On Houston Astros, and we hope that you join us for a daily Locked On Astros podcast. My name is Eric Huysman. You can find me on Twitter at Eric Talks Astros. Find the show at Locked On Astros, your team every day. Brett, where can you find you at?
They can find me at H-Town Wheelhouse on Twitter and Instagram, and Astros411 on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. Always positive, always Stros.
All right, and to show you how worried I am about the Astros offense, I decided to change things up and wear a little Hawaiian shirt to show you how laid back, how unworried I am about the Astros team. I know the offense has been struggling a little bit recently, but overall, I'm not that worried. So let's see if no, not quite yet, but I want to thank y'all guys for making the Locked On Astros podcast your first listen, whether it's on YouTube. Keep on subscribing to us. Keep on giving us a big like. That really helps us. It makes us really feel good. It helps us sleep at night. And go ahead and listen to us on your way to work, on your way home from work, and just make us your first listen on Apple, Odyssey, Spotify, wherever you listen to your podcasts. Check us out and tell a friend, and have them tell a friend, have them tell a friend, and just it becomes this whole big triangle. So, Brett, we got a special guest. He's trying to work through some technical issues right now. But let's.
You guys there?
Hold
on just a second. Let me give it this thing. This thing needs to get connected here.
Okay.
All right. Go ahead, though. You guys go on. Let me get this connected real quick.
All right, so I got him on mute right now. Clay Hensley, former World Series champion and Major League pitcher out of Pearland, Texas. He's now with AT&T SportsNet. He'll be working on the game, I believe, Wednesday. He's been sitting in pregame and postgame. And so we're going to get his take, a professional pitcher's take, on what has been going on with the Houston Astros. Hey, Clay, welcome in.
You guys doing all right?
We're doing good.
All right, good. Yeah. So we got all the tech away.
I think I don't hear echo anymore, so I think we're good.
All right, good to hear. Sorry about that.
So tell us, Clay, there has been a lot of issues in fans' eyes that saying that the Astros haven't been scoring enough. And Eric and I have been crunching the numbers and going over things. Someone brings up a question real quick, and I want to ask you. He goes, is it possible that this roster is too stacked? Like, what do you see the Astros' maybe biggest concern is right now?
Biggest concern is, there's actually a huge concern. I think they filled in some of the gaps, shore up, by the trade deadline, and with Lance coming back and being able to depart with Odorizzi and reliever, I think is or bringing in another needed. Bullpens is what it really takes. Championships and to continue to go deep in there. So I think they pretty much made a lot of the moves that they were making. But as far as they shored up what they needed to there, Yuli was kind of like having a little, but I think with the additions made is probably sparked. I think they're going to have some interesting options off the bench, and I think that the additions they made at the start to protect the rest of the lineup, because pretty much 1 through was pretty deadly, and then getting down to the bottom of the lineup, but bringing in, Vasquez was batting like 268 lines coming in, is a significant side, as well as another, solid defensive catcher.
No, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so I think that Chandler Rome kind of brought up the fact that Mancini has not played a lot of outfield. In fact, last year he didn't play hardly any games in left field. This year he's only played 3 games in left field. So he wasn't brought in to be the everyday left fielder. He was brought in to play some first base, some DH, and so they're going to get him as many appearances as they can. But he's just not a very good defensive outfielder. And then you have Vasquez. If you look at the numbers, I know Robin Cypress actually put out a tweet and saying that since July 1st, Maldonado has a slash line of 268, 315, 549 with a WRC plus of 144. Vasquez, since the same time, 250, 291, 413 with a WRC plus of 95. So Maldonado, while we're all wanting Vasquez to get a lot more playing time, these stats kind of show that Maldonado deserves some more playing time, but Vasquez kind of will get some playing time because he does have the more history of being a catcher. But you're a former pitcher, Clay. Does it really matter who's catching you? Or is that just more of what we overplay that kind of card?
It absolutely does matter to an extent. When I was younger, coming up as a rookie, and pretty much just, we were happy to pitch to whoever we were pitch down to, is, being able to back it and, being in sync, your battery mate. So I think that it does, what catchers can do and to a pitching staff, both good and bad. That, not going to mention any names here, but you would some of the guys you would least be, terrible receivers when it comes to ball receiving pitches from the pitcher. And they're to it. Pitchers do get comfortable with catchers. I know I did over the years. Too, you can't rely on that too much, just from the pitching side, so to speak, because out there, and we never like to make it bad or whatnot if it has to do with something with your catcher and your pitcher. Then we're playing professional sports. You need to pull them aside, same page quickly if it's not in the middle of the game. So, but I think that honestly, that some of these trades that are made for catchers at a deadline, you have guys that have been catching the staff for years, if not for sure, most of the season. Another a guy to step in and continue working the pitching staff the same way that doesn't seem fit. Also, or some, best pitching staff in baseball. I think it speaks volumes with Vasquez, because there is a lot of reporting. There's a lot of dialogue going back to organizations, player developments. Everybody's when you're making a trade like that for somebody as bringing a catcher to work this staff more specifically, Tornado is it should provide a Astros fans out there that this is a guy that can't with any organization bringing a battery mate that would disrupt.
Yeah. So I know that the Astros are definitely building up their team for the playoffs, and it's kind of like building up your cabinet with Built Bars just for when you get hungry, because you always have that time. So Brett, let's talk a little bit about Built Bar.
Yeah, Built Bar is the best tasting protein bar on the land. They have Built Puffs, and if you haven't tried them, you're depriving yourself. They have an amazing new flavor. It's indulgent cookie dough. It's wrapped in 100% chocolate. It's cookie dough chunk puff. It's a light chewy texture, real cookie dough chunks, and of course, covered in 100% chocolate. Run to built.com to snag a box for you and a family. It will be the perfect treat. Or you can find a really good hiding place and just hoard them for yourself. Like Built Bars, the cookie dough chunk puff is covered in 100% real chocolate. That means it's healthy and it's tasty. What's great about this protein that you're getting is this collagen protein so that your body absorbs it more efficiently, provides tons of health benefits, eat something that tastes good and is good for you. Ditch the calories, the fat, and the sugar. Grab yourself a Built Bar. Go to Built.com. Use the promo code LOCK15. That's 15% off your order. That's LOCK15 at Built.com.
All right. If we need to get seats and it's last minute or we just don't want to pay a lot of fees, where's a good place to go?
A good place to go is Simple Seats. Simple Seats is the place you want to go for all your Houston sports. Why go to other sports ticket websites when they're going to tack on 20% or more fees at the end of your checkout process? They don't charge any fees. It saves you money. At Simple Seats, they want all fans to be able to get to more games without breaking the bank. They want fans to forget about the annoying convenience fees. Buying a ticket shouldn't be complicated. Simple Seats has a quick and easy one-page checkout so you can get your tickets and head out to the game. They have great tickets for Astros, Texans, Dynamo, A&M, University of Texas, U of H, with more teams on the way. And with our zone seating specials, fans can save even more. With zone seats, we divide the venue into zones so you don't have to waste your time searching endlessly for a single seat. You pick the zone, we pick the seat. I mean, you can still pick your own seat if you want to. I've been using Simple Seats since 2021, and I love them. Any game I go to where I don't maybe get a ticket from a friend that's already a season ticket holder and I've got to go onto the internet to get my ticket, I go to Simple Seats. So ditch the ticket fees and check out simpleseats.com. The next time you're looking to go to Houston sports event, use a promo code LOCKEDON10 to save $10 off your first purchase of $50 or more. Simple Seats, better prices, no fees. It's that simple.
All right. So I wanted to kind of look at a little bit of what the Astros are kind of looking at. Definitely over the what the Astros have done this year versus the Rangers, it was pretty good. They're 8-3 on the season. They've scored 42 runs. They've allowed 29. They have a 727 win percentage. And if you look at Bleacher Report's Pythagorean win record, they've actually it's actually predicting the Astros have the exact record they have. Like normally, sometimes the record's higher, its record is lower, but it's actually what it is. They've scored 486 runs. They've allowed 360 runs. So I also looked at Fangraphs, and they've said that the Astros are going to finish with a 162 record, with a run differential of 165, and they're going to score about 4.51 runs per game, allow 3.49 runs per game. Their current runs that they're scoring per game is 4.42, and they're allowing 3.49 per game. Only the Dodgers are allowing fewest runs per game. So what the Astros are doing is pretty good, but they just got to score more. And so what Fangraphs is predicting the Astros do is they go 30-22 the rest of the way. I think the Astros are better than that, but I don't know overall what the situation will do.
But I mean, if you look at their record, and you and I have talked about this ad nauseum, their record since they have had the All-Star break has been fine. If you go back all the way back to June 18th, I mean, they've got a very good record. They've got a better record than the Yankees. They've scored more runs than the Yankees. They've scored more runs than the Twins. They've scored more runs than they have versus the Mariners, Twins, Yankees. I haven't looked at the Dodgers, and I know everybody's like, oh my gosh, what's going on? But since July 18th, they've only lost a handful of games. They've scored enough runs, but we see the 3 losses in Oakland. We see the 2 losses against Cleveland. We see these things, and it's a recency bias thing, I think. I don't think the glass is half empty, but I'm not saying that this team should be okay with not scoring a lot of runs. Clay, as you're going through a season and you've got a powerful lineup like this, you have pitchers in the relief in the bullpen area, you've got starters that are killing it. What is like, do the players worry about the scoring runs as much as the fans do, or are they just focused on from game to game we just have to win?
Well, I mean, obviously the name of the game is scoring runs, so you want to get the guy. But for the Houston Astros, it didn't necessarily say plagued them, because it's definitely it's not honest with you, but they have scored by home run with runners on. Recently was that the runs, getting guys over top one position, and you a lot of them getting on base or a solo shot, and they're banging out a lot of them, but at the end of the day, when you start getting down to the and getting towards the playoffs, September, the load is starting to kind of come down on your body a little bit. You need to start manufacturing these runs, especially whenever you're into the playoffs. Guys are going to need to get on, move them over, to play the small ball, because I think a little bit of the small ball lineup has, I think, makes for a deadly combination and something that's going to be a big key to success for whoever wins the World Series.
Yeah, so if you're looking ahead, we don't know if Michael Brantley's coming back. We don't know. He's a big bat that the Astros be missing in the lineup. That means you're going to have to piece together a lot of actions, because Mancini's not going to play a lot of left field. You can put Alvarez in there. He has shown he can play left field when you have certain pitchers and like ground ball pitchers like Valdez, but you're not going to put him every day as a left fielder out there. But definitely they're going to have to piece together. You have Chas McCormick out there, Jake Myers. You're probably going to see some Dubon in center field. And Ledmus Diaz has been playing some pretty good baseball recently. But it's hard to replace somebody like Michael Brantley if he is indeed done for the season. Like somebody said, he is a professional hitter. But I don't know who's going to really step up. And like I've been saying, you're going to have to really, that's what the next month and a half is, however long it's left in the season, is to really see who steps up. Has there been any concern for you watching Jake Myers play, Clay?
I think that he's doing a pretty good job. He's doing well reading the ball off the bat. At the end of the day, you have a lot of guys who probably, cover some of these outfield positions, but the piece is in the lineup. It's just added, and I think that I think the kind of what I'm feeling is the tone shoring up this particular issue. Is I think that they're going to rely on providing the most offensive production and kind of piece they go. It's going to be a who's hot at the time type situation. Yeah.
And definitely, I think that you agree. I would say maybe Pedro Leon could have come up maybe and been the Randy Arozarena of the Astros in 2022, but then he gets hit in the face. So I know Alex Bregman has the most RBIs in July with 17. And the most doubles with 9. So is he back? He's definitely looking like a better hitter all around. So I know there's some signs of life with the Astros offense, but overall, you just can't keep on leaving runners on base and only getting 2 hits in a game when Christian Javier goes out there and throws a gem of a game. And it's just like you can't keep on just stranding your pitchers like that. So.
I think
to that on that, I mean, look, there's not a pitch would not love to pitch, with this. So I do agree with you that when we always try to stay away from the word. It's a hard game, obviously. None stacked. I wouldn't say necessarily not doing what they need to be doing with runners, as we say, in players, and as you guys well know, it's getting those timely hits with the runners in scoring position to mount up where you're not doing that, then it starts to look like a problem that needs to be fixed. And I don't think that's necessarily getting on the base, manufacturing the runs, moving guys over, creating traffic on the base is ultimately what's going to lead.
I think, one of the people that have been receiving a lot of criticism this summer, in this season, is Alex Bregman. And what's interesting is in July, Alex Bregman had the most RBIs on the team, even more than Yordan Alvarez with 17. He had the most doubles as well with 9. And so the question is he back? I think this postseason is going to be the time where Alex Bregman needs to have a career year. I think Yordan Alvarez is going to light things up in the playoffs. And I think this team is poised for a long playoff run. And I think the question's going to become the guys on the Wheelhouse on 97.5 today were deliberating when Lance McCullers will come back. One of them was suggesting, I don't know if it's Brad Kilner or Jake Asman, were saying that McCullers could come back as soon as late this week or as soon as next week if they want McCullers to find a place on this rotation. If he does find a place in this rotation and if he does become a starter, then what you have is you have a conundrum of Jose Urquidy, Christian Javier, and Luis Garcia. And I think Luis Garcia is probably the odd man out because of Jose Urquidy's postseason success. So what I like about this team is they have the pitching. What I love about this team is they have the bats that have the ability to show up at a moment's notice. But we all know that if you get cold at the wrong time, per 2021 World Series, it can spell bad things for you no matter your opponent, because not a single person on this planet picked the Braves. The Braves were the only team that thought the Braves were going to win that World Series last year. And the Astros looked overmatched. They looked outplayed. They just didn't show up. The game 2 was the game of the series, and everything else was just they just didn't do well. And I don't see this team doing that a second year in a row in the postseason because they've been so close. And they do have one World Series, but there's only a few guys that were on that World Series team, Eric.
I forgot I muted myself to let my son in, but I agree. And so, it's just crazy how good this Astros team could potentially be. And it's frustrating that the talent this team has and for them to kind of be sputtering like they are, but I know that they can do better. So, Clay, do you have any closing thoughts about just anything about the Astros team?
Well, look, I think, and I understand, from a the expectation is that with this lineup and this rotation, be going out and winning every ball game. And on paper, I'm correct. But keep in mind that it's a long season, all right? And they have baseball. I've talked about this. Having an opportunity to be out there on the field, watch these guys. I remember 2 things over my course of my career, between a championship ball club and those that they played against. And, whenever I was in San Diego, soldiers were coming in, we were covering them, and it was fundamentally just sound Padres at the time. And the Padres had a pretty good team, but everything was done and executed exactly how 12-year-old. And that's what the difference is. You see these guys go, it's going to happen. Leaving runners on base is going to happen every now and then, and give it up. I mean, that is the end of the world, and the goes down the drain with the shower. So you have to have short-term memory, but you have to. I think this team is just like that we've seen, especially when I was a part of it in 2012. We just did the big things, right? And all that kind of coming together, and the team gelling together, which this team has with each other. They look like they're having fun, and the team that looks like so. I don't think that these guys are sputtering. A little bit of a bump, which is natural over the course of a long season. I think they're going to be primed to take it all the way. Honestly, it's my pick to close with you. I think these guys are going to win it this year and do so.
Yeah, I agree with you. So, Clay, once again, thank you for coming on Locked On Astros podcast. We've been enjoying seeing you on AT&T SportsNet, and you're going to be filling in a little bit this week. So I'm looking forward to seeing you again. And so don't be a stranger, and we love having you talking Astros baseball. Brett, you got anything else?
No, just make sure that if you check out the AT&T Sportsnet broadcast, when you see Clay on there, send him a tweet, add him on Twitter, let him know how much you enjoy his commentary, because he is a pro and he gives the pros perspective. And hey, a little local flavor here: the Pearland Little League plays at 2:00 or 12:00 on Tuesday, and they just rolled West Texas 19-0. And they've got a big game, one more game, and they're off to the Little League World Series. So we'll definitely be cheering them on, and I'm going to be reaching out to their coach, trying to get either him or someone from the team on here pretty soon, as they are hopefully advancing to Williamsport. But we won't ask them for that request until after the win is secured. So we don't want to jinx it. We don't want to Brian McTaggart it.
Quick, so I went out and spoke to this team. The coach reached out and asked me to go by there. So we went over to the Pearland. And, I told the coach, I said, hey, I told him, just go up and give some speech and whatnot. I said, let me practice, play some defense and see how these guys are going and give tips. I got the opportunity at the end of it to throw to them in game situations. So I was kind of letting it go a little bit. They rose to the challenge. So, we wish them good luck. And on Tuesday, if they win this one, like you said, they will join us out there, because we're going to have a crew out there working out. So it'll be all live stuff with the Astros as well as you get.
Right. All righty. Well, thank you once again, Clay Hensley, for joining the Locked On Astros podcast. And guys, thank you for making Locked On Astros podcast your first listen every day. Hopefully the Astros take care of business and win against the Rangers. And let's go Stros. We'll see you later.